nerds, what's up? So it seems like everyone is over the chosen one trope. Like everyone's always talking about like it's overdone and all this stuff. But when I think of some of the stories that use the chosen one trope, like Dune or Harry Potter or Star Wars or Mistborn, you know what all of those properties have in common? I love them. They're some of my favorite properties. So you know what? I like the chosen one trope, and maybe there are a lot of bad uses of it that I'm purposely overlooking, but I think when it's done well, it can be done really well. I think one of our biggest problems with the chosen one trope is we really just don't have a clear definition of what it is or where it started. So today we're gonna talk about the definition of the chosen one trope, where it may have started, and discuss some of my favorite uses of the chosen one tropes, and defend why I like it so much. See you after the jump. I think the hardest thing about the chosen one is that I could not find any definitive start for this trope. Unlike something like the Mary Sue, which has like a very definitive beginning, this one just like developed over time, or it's something we just started noticing. And because of that, there isn't really like a clear or concise definition of it, surprisingly. Like I always thought we all felt the same way. Now it does have some roots back all the way even into the Greek myths, which had a lot of heroes with chosen one tropes mixed into them. I'm gonna say it though, I think this is one of the tropes that's overused in terms of people claiming something's a chosen one but isn't. A lot of people said that about the Mary Sue, like people overstated it, but I feel that way about the chosen one. People will say any hero's a chosen one, where in my opinion, very specifically, for you to be a chosen one, there has to be some magical or mystical prophecy saying that only you can solve something. In my opinion, this is very different than a hero who is just naturally suited to solve the problems in their story. That's sort of the point of a character arc, is we're following the most interesting person for their story. And in my opinion, with that missing element of a prophecy, you are not a chosen one, you're just perhaps a hero. Now, one I kept seeing over and over again being said as a chosen one in my research was Katniss Everdeen. And here's one I completely disagree with. Katniss Everdeen, yes, was chosen by the Resistance to be the face of the Resistance, but that's no different than anyone in life being chosen because of their qualifications or who they are or circumstances of luck. There was no mystical or magical prophecy putting Katniss Everdeen as the savior of the districts. So to me, that's clearly not a chosen one, but like a lot of people online disagree. Similarly, everyone wants to talk about Lord of the Rings having all these chosen ones and like Bilbo and Frodo are chosen ones. No, they're not. They're not. They maybe because their hobbits had, from what I understand, a predisposition not to be influenced by the ring, but it didn't feel very prophecy. Like if anyone from the Lord of the Rings is a chosen one, it's Aragorn. Because that dude actually has prophecies about what he's gonna do and the sword and the king and all that stuff. So I just feel like there's a misunderstanding. You can be the hero of your story and not be a chosen one, from my understanding of the definition. It seems one of the biggest criticisms I see of the chosen one trope is that it often leads to Mary Sue characters, because you feel like you're reading about the special boy, the special girl who does everything right, and it's their purpose. Now I do think the chosen one's a little bit out of vogue right now, and that's probably is a symptom of maybe our chosen ones becoming a little too powerful, but again, it just doesn't always have to be that way. So if we look at some of the properties I mentioned earlier, you have Harry Potter, which I honestly think is a good use of the chosen one. Harry is clearly a character with flaws and problems, and he's always making mistakes, and there is a little twist with the chosen one prophecy, so I think that one works well as probably one of the most straightforward chosen ones, but you're never like, Harry's a Mary Sue. It's not there. He's never like OP. Now, we also have Mistborn and Star Wars, which I think have interesting twists on the chosen one, right? With Star Wars, it's our villain who's the chosen one. And I think the ultimate conclusion of how he fulfills his prophecy was a little unexpected as well. You know, Darth Vader kills the Emperor, thus killing himself, thus bringing balance to the Force, isn't exactly the straight cut hero saves the day chosen one. And even though I love Mistborn and how it uses the chosen one trope, I'm just not gonna talk about it because I just think it gets way too into spoiler territories. But I will say, if you haven't read Mistborn and you like a chosen one trope, that's a great trilogy for you. Now I get it, the whole special kid thing gets overdone, but I think it's okay to read those stories and feel like it's cool for someone to be special. I've been rereading Harry Potter with my son, and there is like an emotion of like, triumph. And I think that's an okay emotion to feel. I'm not gonna feel sorry for it. Sometimes I do like to just read about the hero being special and succeeding. Do I want that in all my stories? No, but I think it's okay in the right context. Now, the last one I really want to talk about is actually my personal favorite use of the Chosen One probably, which is Rand al'Thor in The Wheel of Time. Now, I'm sorry if you were watching the Wheel of Time show and were surprised that it's Rand. In the book, it's very obvious that Rand al'Thor is the Dragon Reborn. And I just really like what the Wheel of Time does with Rand. Now, he is one probably the most constrained by his prophecies. There are so many of them about him. But what's really interesting is that those prophecies are almost like inevitable. No matter what Rand does to try to push back on them or do something different, it's like him being stuck on a train track, and no matter what he does, it's fulfilling a prophecy. And the mental and emotional strain that puts on Rand as a character in the novels, and how that develops his personality in sometimes dark ways, I think is very fascinating. You're never reading Wheel of Time and feeling that Rand is this straight up hero that's saving the day all the time. He is extremely powerful, but the reason it doesn't go into overpowered is, first of all, there are a lot of powerful characters around him, and two, this emotional strain that is being put on him just leads to very interesting interactions, and probably my favorite part of the Wheel of Time. And then there's like this cool added element where nobody's wanting the Dragon Reborn. Despite the fact that the Dragon Reborn is supposed to save the world, part of the prophecy is that he's also supposed to tear the world apart. And so everyone has from anywhere from mild disdain to outright fear and hate of our hero, of our chosen one, rather than the typical hero worship or we've been waiting for you for so long. And I think that added element also just gives an adult upgrade to the chosen one. And it's one of the reasons I think Wheel of Time as a story has stuck around so long, is because it's exploring those themes in different ways while still being a very classic chosen one. Overall, I'll admit the chosen one is probably one of my favorite tropes. If a book has a chosen one, it doesn't put me off at all. Again, I'm having a hard time thinking of times I've read The Chosen One and really hated it, because there aren't a lot of current books coming out with that kind of prophecy chosen one, especially in adult fantasy. I think we see a lot more in YA and younger fantasy, which I think in some ways makes sense. I think as younger kids and teens, the comfort of a story, reading about someone who is going to succeed, reading about someone who is special, is comforting and can make us look up to those characters and want to be that kind of person in our own lives. And again, I will defend that there is nothing wrong with that. Now, as adults, as things get more complicated, I think we do maybe seek chosen one stories that have some more interest thrown in and isn't as clear cut. But for me, I still enjoy going back to those stories from my youth and reading about those chosen ones. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this trope. Do you hate it? Or give me examples of books that did a terrible job at it, or give me some of your favorites and why they were your favorites. Let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. That is the best way to support me. And if you want to see what I'm currently reading, you can check me out on Instagram at bookborn.reviews. I'll see you next time. Bye.